Okay, here we go. This is CO2 explanation part 3 for my son. He was asking me why I had to put carbon dioxide in the water. And I wanted the CO2 paintball tank to switch it over. So for now, I got this yeast system going. But we'll get to that in a second. These are Neorite snails there. So autocinkless catfish. Eats algae. So do the Neorite snails. There you go. You can see the bubbles still coming up. Still small bubbles, which is pretty good. Well, that's actually really good. That's for my whole CO2 system that I made. That's the overall view of the tank right now. I took the Nebius off of the wood there, because it had a whole bunch of algae on it. So I took that off and can mix up some stuff to kill the algae on it. Then I have to dip it in, and it's a whole process. But algae is, once it gets in your tank, it can either take over, but if you can stop it, and get the upper hand on it, it's not too bad. But algae can easily take over a tank, and that stops and that discourages a lot of people from the hobby, especially when you start getting into live plants, because we got light and fertilizer and fish waste and all kinds. There's a lot more factors. Plant decay. I got to come in here and prune a bunch of leaves off too. Some of these leaves the older leaves are dying, and some of them just have algae on them. So when I come through, I'm going to clean the tank. There's the CO2 system right now, and I made the reservoir. I got the reservoir to seal up right finally, so that should keep the tank a lot cleaner. The last video that I didn't have that reservoir, and the tank was a lot dirtier. Residual from the reaction chamber, stuff just getting blown through the tube and get into the tank and making it all extra dirty. So with that there, it should make a big difference, because all that nastiness and gunk and stuff's going to get caught in that reservoir, and then I just empty it, similar to a protein skimmer in a saltwater tank. It's very similar to that. So hopefully, it'll burn a lot cleaner. It looks like it is. It seems like it has been. I just made that like maybe 10 minutes ago. Little yellow thing up there, I made that. And it's to help the CO2 diffuse into the water more efficiently. Instead of all the little bubbles popping at the top of the water, they're getting caught there. So it's giving them extra time. That's what you call dwell time. But extra time to mix with the water to get it to diffuse. And a little bit of that will pop off, about a quarter of that. And yeah, I heard it makes a difference, and helps the CO2 system to function better. So we'll see. I kind of like it. I don't know, it just looks like weird up there, but I like it. And someday we'll see what happens. Upgrades and improvements, so I'm happy with it. I was going to switch over to the pressurized air. I mean, not air, but CO2 last week. But I said, nah, I'm not finished experimenting with this yet, and I like to get to know it and like fully understand it before I move on. That's just the kind of person I am. You can easily just buy a system that's already put together and all that, but I like to learn putting it together myself, and I find out little things here and there. I learned a lot about the CO2 so far. Even the guy that pioneered it, Takashi Yamano, Japanese guy, famous photographer, and started a nature aquarium. He pioneered it and actually figured out how he got the idea, and probably